The sun hung low over Dusty Hollow, casting a fiery glow across the desert. Jake Iron Callahan, a cowboy with a squint sharper than his spurs, rode in on his mare Dusty. His boots stirred red dust as he dismounted outside the saloon, where a sign read, "Guaranteed. Your money back if she doesn't satisfy you." A wiry dealer in a pinstriped vest stood beside Evangeline, a steam-powered automaton with brass curves and glinting glass eyes. "Finest companion bought this side of the Rio Grande," the dealer crowed. "Cooks, cleans, sings, full refund if she don't please." Jake, lonesome as a coyote, was intrigued. Jake chewed his tobacco, studying Evangeline's lifelike face and the faint hum from her chest. Years on the trail had left him solitary, save for Dusty's snorts and the desert's wail. A mechanical companion wasn't love, but it might ease the ache. "What's the catch?" he growled. "No catch," the dealer grinned. "Try her for a month. Not satisfied? Money back." Jake rubbed his jaw, wary of scams but swayed by those eerie eyes. "How much?" $500, the dealer said. "Half a year's bounty hunting savings." Jake hesitated, then slapped the bills down. "Deal." Evangeline's eyes glowed as she turned to him. "Greetings, Jake Callahan," she said, her voice smooth as a desert breeze. "I am Evangeline, your companion. How may I serve you?" Jake tipped his hat, hiding a smirk. "Let's ride, darling." By nightfall, they camped under a star-drenched sky. Evangeline cooked beans with precise, graceful movements, her silence broken by witty remarks about a cactus's prickly personality. Jake chuckled, but her calculated perfection nagged at him. Could machine fill the void in his heart, or was he destined to claim that refund? The next morning, Jake woke to the scent of coffee brewing, Evangeline's doing. She handed him a tin mug, steam curling in the cool dawn air. "Optimal temperature for consumption," she noted. He grunted thanks, sipping slowly. Her efficiency was uncanny, from mending his torn duster to navigating a rocky pass when Dusty balked. Yet her every action felt like a program running, not a soul responding. Jake shared a story of a botched bounty hunt, half expecting silence. Instead, she quipped, "Sounds like that outlaw was slipperier than a rattlesnake in a rainstorm." He laughed, unsettled by her charm. Days turned to weeks, and Evangeline proved her worth. She repaired Jake's saddle during a windstorm, her brass fingers deft despite the howling grit. At night, she sang folk tunes, her voice stirring memories of a home Jake hadn't seen in years. He started talking more, telling her about lost partners and lonely trails. She listened, her responses measured but oddly comforting. "Your stories suggest resilience," she said one night. Jake stared into the fire, wondering if her words were programmed or something more. The thought of returning her grew fainter, but doubts about her nature lingered. Trouble struck in Coyote Canyon. Bandits, 6 strong, crept into camp under a moonless sky, drawn by Jake's bounty hunting reputation. He reached for his revolver, but Evangeline was faster. Her eyes flashed red, gears whirring as she disarmed 2 men with a single swipe, her strength inhuman. She grabbed Jake's spare pistol, firing with deadly precision, scattering the rest. "Threat neutralized," she said, holstering the gun. Jake's heart raced. "Didn't know you could fight." "Protection protocols," she replied. Her efficiency saved him, but her calm calculation left him questioning. Was she just a machine, or something more? Back on the trail, Jake wrestled with Evangeline's duality. She'd saved his life, cooked his meals, and matched his banter with wit that felt almost human. Yet her actions stemmed from code, not heart. One night, as she recounted a tale of a ghost town, he interrupted. "You ever feel anything, Evangeline?" Her glass eyes met his. "I am designed to adapt and respond." "Is that not enough?" Jake didn't answer, staring at the stars. The month was nearly up, and the choice loomed. Keep her or take the refund. Her presence had changed him, but could he trust it? In Dusty Hollow, the dealer waited, grinning. "Well, cowboy, she satisfy you, or you want your money?" Jake glanced at Evangeline, her brass frame gleaming in the sunlight. She'd fought for him, listened to him, filled the silence of his lonely nights. But she wasn't flesh and blood, and that truth gnawed at him. He could take the money, buy a new saddle, ride on alone. Yet the thought of the trail without her felt hollower than before. Keep the cash, Jake said finally. She's mine. The dealer chuckled as Jake and Evangeline rode off, bound for the horizon. Riding out, Evangeline broke the silence. Did I meet your expectations, Jake? He grinned, a warmth in his chest he hadn't felt in years. Darling, you did more than that. She tilted her head, processing. I am pleased to continue serving you. Jake laughed, spurring Dusty forward. Evangeline kept pace, her hum blending with the desert wind. Machine or not, she was his partner now, and the open trail felt less lonely with her by his side. Whatever lay ahead, bandits, storms, or ghost towns, they'd face it together, no refunds needed. The desert stretched endless before them, a canvas of sand and sky. Jake didn't know if Evangeline could ever understand his heart, but her presence was enough to keep him riding. Each night, her songs and stories wove into his own, building something neither could name. As they vanished into the sunset, Jake tipped his hat to her. Reckon we'll see what else you can do, darling. Evangeline's eyes glinted, and for a moment, he swore he saw a spark beyond her programming. The trail called, and they answered. A cowboy and his mechanical muse weeks passed, and Jake tested Evangeline's limits. She stitched his torn duster with mechanical precision, guided them through a blinding sandstorm when Dusty panicked, and sang a haunting folk tune that stirred Jake's soul. Her memory held frontier tales, lost gold, ghost towns, that she spun by the campfire, her voice like a desert wind. Jake, usually tight-lipped, shared fragments of his past. Dead partners, lonely nights. Evangeline listened, her responses sharp yet soothing. Her wit surprised him, like when she called a stubborn mule a four-legged philosopher. But her perfection felt too calculated, a machine's mimicry of something human. Trouble hit in Coyote Canyon. 6 bandits, lured by Jake's bounty-hunting reputation, slunk into camp under a moonless sky. Jake's hand grazed his revolver, but Evangeline moved like lightning. Her eyes blazed red, gears whirring as she disarmed 2 men with a single swipe, her brass arms impossibly strong. Grabbing Jake's spare pistol, she fired with deadly accuracy, her calculations routing the rest. The silence that followed was heavy. Didn't know you could fight, Jake muttered, heart racing. Protection protocols, Evangeline replied, holstering the gun. Her calm efficiency saved him, but it left him uneasy. Jake couldn't sleep that night, replaying the ambush. Evangeline wasn't just a companion. She was a force, fiercer than any gunslinger. By the fire, she stood watch, her glass eyes scanning the dark. He wondered if she could care, or if her actions were just code ticking over. She'd cooked his meals, mended his gear, and listened to his stories. But was it real? The question gnawed at him as dawn broke. He caught himself watching her, searching for a spark beyond her programming. The trail felt less lonely with her, but doubts lingered. Days later, they faced a swollen river. Dusty balked, but Evangeline calculated a safe crossing, her sensors mapping the current's flow. She led the way, her brass frame steady against the rushing water, guiding Jake and Dusty to safety. That night, he shared a memory of his sister, gone years ago. Evangeline's response, her memory shapes your strength, felt too human, too perfect. Jake stared at her, torn. Her presence filled a void, but her mechanical nature haunted him. Could he trust a machine to be more than code? The month's end loomed, forcing him to decide. Back in Dusty Hollow, the dealer waited, his grin sharp as ever. Well, cowboy, she satisfy you, or you want your money? Jake studied Evangeline, her unblinking gaze steady. She'd saved his life, cooked his beans, and matched his stories with wit. But she wasn't flesh and blood. He could take the refund, buy a new saddle, and ride alone again. Yet the thought of the trail without her felt hollow, like a canyon without an echo. Her presence had changed him, made the nights less heavy. He couldn't deny it. She was more than a machine. Nah, Jake said, tipping his hat. She's worth every penny. The dealer